Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. In this video, we will discuss NVIDIA stock movement for today and try to make an assessment for tomorrow and early next week using technical charts and fundamentals. We'll also take a look at other AI stocks and economic data due this week and next week. Now, let's get it started. You see NVIDIA stock chart for today on your screen. NVIDIA opened at 874, it made a high at 907, it made a low 869, and it closed at 906. That is 4.11% up. Last 5 days, NVIDIA up 4.4%. And that's a very good news for those who bought NVIDIA shares yesterday or day before yesterday. Last 1 month, NVIDIA still down 1.4%. Last 6 months, NVIDIA up 93%. And after making an all-time high, NVIDIA tried to do some correction, but again, it started going up. You see historical closing price. Take a look last 5 days. Almost 3 days in last 5 days, NVIDIA closed lower than the previous day closing price. Take a look this one, 871 below the previous day closing price, 853 below the previous day closing price, 870 yesterday higher than prior day closing price, and today 906 higher than yesterday closing price. So that's a good sign. Last 2 days Nvidia is trying to get some momentum to go further up. Regarding my position, I sold almost 30% of my position today. I'm gonna buy more tomorrow or early next week if Nvidia goes down. Now let's dig into technical charts. On your screen, you see 90-day 1-hour interval chart for Nvidia. In last 90 days, the lowest point was 450 and the highest point 962. And also we have RSI. RSI in hourly chart is at 80, and that tells that RSI at this point is overbought. And take a look, the curve, very steep. You see that? That tells me that the buyer came into the market in a very short interval today and yesterday. Now let's take a look 30 minutes interval chart. So in a 30 minutes interval, RSI is higher than 1-hour interval chart. So right now is around 81 in the 30 minutes interval chart. So this tells me Nvidia got positive momentum in a very short interval. Now let's take a look MACD. You see MACD chart in a 30 minutes interval. Since yesterday it got some momentum. Now it's trying to gain more momentum today. And that's a very good sign. So yesterday I made a comment that Nvidia is trying to gain some momentum, but it was not able to yesterday. But now today it got it. Now let's take a look hourly interval chart for MACD. So hourly interval chart is showing the same behavior, but the curve is much steeper than the 30 minutes interval. So this tells me that MACD, is trying to gain more momentum in the longer term as well. And this steeper curve tells me that it can go further up tomorrow and early next week. It's similar to this curve. You see, here Nvidia went up, and then after that it went down. The same thing can happen. Nvidia can go further up, and then after reaching somewhere here, it can start going down sometime next week. Now let's take a look Fibonacci levels. Now I have drawn Fibonacci levels starting from 0% to 100%. I selected the lowest point at 667 because after this point Nvidia got more positive momentum. Okay, and the highest point is 962. So as of this point, Nvidia is at 905. It's already broke 892 resistance level, and after that, the next strong resistance is at 962. And early this week, after touching 849, Nvidia did not go down to 814 level, and this is perfectly in line with my expectation. I mentioned you guys yesterday and day before that I'm not expecting Nvidia to go further down and touch 814 anytime soon. Now let's take a look some news regarding Nvidia. So today, not just Nvidia, the overall market is up. And one of the reasons is the producer price index came lower than the forecast. We'll talk about the producer price index or PPI in a bit. And some analysts raised the Nvidia price target again. And yesterday we saw Morgan Stanley increase the Nvidia price target. And now this guy, Raymond James, and they raised the Nvidia price target to 1100. And that's a good thing. More and more analysts these days are increasing the Nvidia price target. One news that can impact Nvidia, not in the short term, but further in the future, is this guy, Huawei. So Huawei is working to come up with some new products that they can compete with Nvidia and AMD. See that? So if that happens and Huawei comes up with some products that can challenge Nvidia and AMD, we might see some pressure on Nvidia and AMD stock. But in the near future, I do not see any impact. And another news you might want to see is this one. And that's very weird to me. So they are claiming that Nvidia is trading 13% discount to the long-term average, and they are using 5-year average to do the comparison. And that doesn't make any sense to me because last 5-year data may not be a good reflection for next 5 years. Okay, so whenever this kind of data analysis comes up, you need to be very careful before you jump to conclusion because some of the data analysis, the method and the data they're using in the method may not be appropriate to make the good assessment for the future. Now let's move on to other AI stocks. Starting with Palantir. Palantir up 1.87% today. SoundHound 5.76% up today. SMCI 3.16% up today. Avago 4.54% up today. And Nvidia 4.11% up today. You see that all of the AI stocks are up today. I'm happy that I'm positive on both my Avago stocks and Nvidia stocks. And I sold almost 30% of my Nvidia and more Avago today. Take a look this one, SoundHound, 5.76% up today. I posted a video on SoundHound a few days back and I made a comment that SoundHound could be a good potential buy because it was trading at a lower price. It went up 5.76%. If somebody who bought SoundHound at that time could have made some profit. Now let's take a look PPI data and other economic data due this week and early next week. You see the PPI or the producer price index data released today. The actuals came 2.1% lower than the forecast that was 2.2%. And before that, it came higher than the forecast last two cycles. And this data, this cycle market took it very positive and the market went up. Now let's take a look other economic data. So after PPI data today, on Friday, I do not see anything big coming up. Monday, nothing much. Tuesday, nothing big. Wednesday, not much. Thursday, maybe initial jobless claim can be important, but not big impact, I would think. And then Friday, nothing big. So overall, next week is not a very eventful week for the market. And that's a good thing for market. Market can do better next week compared to this week. So that's all for today. If I summarize today's discussion, Nvidia did not go down to 800 this week, and which was in line with my previous expectation. Nvidia got positive momentum today and yesterday, and I'm expecting Nvidia will do better tomorrow and early next week compared to this week. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.